MasterChef, not Masturbate.
Today, let's talk about MasterChef contestants that everyone loved and hated. And this dude right here stuck out like a sore thumb for all the wrong reasons. So here's the scoop on Mark, a contestant who had a rough ride on the show. His attitude and lack of cooking skills made him a bit of a black sheep. Even though Mark walked in with a big smile and dreams of taking home the gold, his sassy behavior didn't go unnoticed. More so when he was trying to get on the judges' nerves on purpose. You see, Mark was in denial about how he was doing and wasn't exactly setting the kitchen on fire with passion or talent. Despite Chef Ramsay trying to wake him up, Mark couldn't even serve up a dish that was halfway decent. The mystery box challenge was a mix of highs and lows for Mark. As a top 20 home cook, he strutted into the MasterChef kitchen with high hopes. During the challenge, Mark was all about determination, saying he wasn't there to lose and planned to make a pancake breakfast with latkes.
Didn't come here to lose.
After the challenge, Chef Ramsay took a minute to see how Mark was doing and asked him about his dish. Mark confidently shared his creation, thinking he'd stand out and maybe snag an advantage in the competition.
I've got this. I'm gonna be getting the advantage.
But then, plot twist. Ramsay revealed that Mark, along with Sam and Heather, had the worst dishes of the night.
You three stood out for all the wrong reasons.
Despite the low blow, Mark, Sam, and Heather were called back to the front for the judges to take a closer look.
Heather, Sam, each of these dishes are way off.
During the dish review, Christina got real with Mark. She pointed out the issues with his caramel swirl pancake with potato latkes, apples, and bananas, mentioning the undercooked pancake and the raw fruit on the plate.
It has problems, it's undercooked. Seeing raw apple and raw banana.
She compared his hash brown to a piece of meat. Ouch, now that's gotta sting.
The hash brown, it almost looks like a piece of meat.
After seeing potential in Mark's ravioli dish in the past, Christina thought he could step up his game. But this time, it was a total fail.
It's underwhelming and disappointing to say the least.
But Mark's reaction didn't help his case. If anything, it left Christina even more confused.
Order with 2 minutes left, and I ran onto the field without my helmet or my jock strap.
During the elimination test, Mark was moving slowly, and his lack of urgency caught the attention of his fellow home cooks, Ebony and Jeff. When Christina checked in on Mark's station, he was redoing his pancake dish, this time with chocolate chips and served with baked eggs.
And I'm gonna do baked eggs in the oven this time.
Christina was curious to know what made him switch things up, but you won't believe what he said.
Shoot the basic play first, then want you to try the flea flicker.
Puzzled, Christina decided to just shrug it off and ignore him. But then, what happened next left everyone, including those watching from the balcony, speechless. Mark put raw bacon strips into his baked eggs.
Raw bacon.
Why would you do that?
With only 15 minutes left, Christina voiced her concern over Mark's frazzled behavior. Although Chef Ramsay thought Mark hadn't given up completely, he felt the seriousness was missing.
Look at him and think that, wow, this guy's desperate.
Later on, when Chef Ramsay was about to leave Heather's station, Mark made a comment directed at Chef Ramsay, and it was packed with attitude.
You know what you could do, Heather? Just do what I do and ignore them.
Chef Ramsay overheard it, and he wasn't gonna let it slide.
It's just a big show off for your mates.
No.
No, we'll take it serious. We'll take your apron off.
Chef Ramsay gave Mark a stern warning, telling him to either step up his game or take off his apron. Clearly, Mark didn't have much respect for the competition.
Not today, baby.
Somehow, Mark finished his dish first with just 2 minutes left, but here's the kicker. He was the last one to have his dish judged by Chef Ramsay. Although Mark thought he was improving with each dish, Chef Ramsay had a different take. When Chef Ramsay tasted Mark's dish, he dished out some serious criticism.
That is tough to look at.
But when Chef Ramsay asked if Mark was happy with his dish, Mark's arrogance took center stage.
Successfully completed the 28th sweep, and I think I scored a touchdown.
While Mark's dish wasn't a total disaster, Chef Ramsay wondered if Mark had the hunger to push himself further.
But with 90 seconds left, just waltzed up, put your plate down. Are you hungry enough?
Mark claimed he was starving, but Christina had doubts. She did admit that the pancake was cooked properly, but was a simple dish like this really worthy of the competition?
Cake and baked eggs is worthy of this competition.
In the end, Mark was sent packing for two main reasons: lack of hunger and passion to stay in the competition, and his disrespectful behavior throughout the challenge. But of course, Mark wasn't too happy with the judges' decision.
Passion for cooking, and I get to share it with my wife.
I mean, the dude wanted to give himself a hug, so you can imagine how much self-worth he had. Next, let me spice the list and really run with this, because get this, we've got a triple threat on our hands. We're talking about none other than the one and only Dino Angelo Luciano, straight out of season 8. This guy is the real deal. A sensation that's got the moves on the dance floor, the skills in the kitchen, and the creativity of an artist. Everybody's gaga for Dino, and it's not hard to see why.
Dino was a dark horse who danced his way into the kitchen.
When it comes to Italian cuisine, Dino's got it down. And let me tell you, this guy is the definition of originality, always keeping the judges and the viewing audience on the edge of their seats with his unique flair. Just check out this one particular challenge where he was put to the test with limited pantry time but had to craft 3 distinct dishes. Dino took a risk and decided to go with squid ink capellini, calamari, clams, and cherry tomatoes.
Squid ink capellini pasta with calamari.
The judges had their reservations, but once they took a bite, guess what happened?
I want to dive in for more.
Well, those reservations dissolve faster than sugar in hot tea. Chef Ramsay had one tiny critique about the squid being a tad overcooked, but other than that, the dish was a grand slam. Joe was so blown away that he offered Dino a deal right then and there.
This guy, I want to hire him. This dish is authentic, flavorful.
Next, let's spill the tea on Jeff. This guy was a walking storm cloud. He had a hot temper, always ready to pick a fight, and full of excuses. He was basically the human embodiment of a rainy day, dragging everyone down with his negative Nancy vibes. At first, Jeff was all gung-ho, like a superhero ready to tackle any challenge that came his way. But then, he took a nosedive into the deep end of the mediocrity pool. Jeff was the sore loser of the decade. So, with his track record, let's dive into the Mystery Box Challenge, where the theme was family reunion. Jeff had to make a dish that screamed family love.
What?
When he saw his fiancée and son, Jeff was pretty sure he'll cook up a storm and make Gordon Ramsay say, well done. He planned a soy-glazed salmon with a side of gourmet goodies, like miso, ginger, garlic cauliflower puree, and pickled radishes with Asian pears. But wouldn't you know it, the judges were like, whoa, we've seen better, and quite expectedly, his dish didn't cut it to be a top pick. Then, it was time for round 2. The other contestants had to whip up another salmon dish. But here's the twist. Kate, who won the last mystery box, got to play timekeeper.
15 minutes, you'll shout out another name.
Jeff got the shortest straw with a measly 20 minutes to cook. He scrambled to the pantry like a man possessed.
Certainly, I am one of the top chefs here.
But little did Jeff know, Kate had it out for him. She wanted Jeff gone, thanks to his less than sunny disposition.
Jeff.
His attitude is poor.
Jeff, with his head in the clouds and heart full of delusions, thought getting the shortest cooking time was a badge of honor. Anyway, judgment time arrived, and Jeff served up his Mediterranean-style salmon masterpiece, complete with feta cheese, sun-dried tomato relish, and an apple and cucumber gratin with cranberry and stout beer.
With a little bit of feta cheese and sun-dried tomato.
Confidence oozing, Jeff thought he had the winning dish.
And at the end of the day, I don't think anyone else could have done better.
But enter Ramsay, and he discovered the salmon was raw. He wasn't just unimpressed, he was ready to unleash a verbal hurricane.
It's raw. Are you trying to poison me?
Ramsay was beyond mad, and his words were crazy. He accused Jeff of trying to poison him with his undercooked salmon. But Jeff tried to defend his dish, claiming the salmon was supposed to be rare. Ramsay, not one to mince words, schooled him on the difference between rare and raw.
I wanted it to be on the rarer side.
Hey, you wanted it that rare?
Yes.
To add insult to injury, Ramsay found the salmon and gratin combo bizarre, likening the salmon to sushi.
It's like sushi, Dad.
When the judges stepped out to deliberate, Dino's sushi joke sparked a fiery reaction from Jeff.
Were we allowed to make sushi?
Jeff's retort was something you had to hear to believe. But you know what? It set the stage for a full-blown kitchen confrontation.
I'll make a spaghetti and meatball.
Tempers flared, and before you know it, it was a full-on kitchen rumble. Finally, the moment of truth arrived, and Jeff found himself in the hot seat standing next to Yachicia as one of the 2 home cooks on the chopping block. Ramsay didn't sugarcoat his critique of Jeff's performance.
Jeff.
Just when everyone thought Yachicia was going home, Ramsay dropped the bombshell. Both Yachicia and Jeff were getting the boot. Ramsay cited Jeff's raw salmon and his unteachable defensive attitude as the reasons for his elimination. When asked about his feelings post-elimination, Jeff surprised everyone with a surprisingly mature response.
I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank the 3 of you, so thank you.
He admitted his attitude issues and acknowledged that he might have rubbed some of his fellow cooks the wrong way.
Supported my team, and I did the best that I could.
In the end, Jeff's fiery temper, juvenile antics, and lack of self-awareness brought his MasterChef journey to a fiery end. One thing's for sure, Jeff's time in the kitchen was as memorable as it was tumultuous. Next, let's keep the momentum going and turn the spotlight on the Season 9 champion, Garen Hurt, a culinary force to be reckoned with from the heart of Kentucky. This southern cooking maestro isn't just any chef, he's all about taking those homey recipes to new heights of sophistication.
English teacher from Louisville, Kentucky.
Garen's got a special talent for seizing opportunities, making the most of every moment in the MasterChef kitchen. His kind and polite demeanor is just as appealing as his cooking skills, and today, Today, he's thriving in the food truck scene, serving up mouth-watering southern delights. Now, back to the finale drama. The tension was palpable as the contestants scrambled for ingredients in the pantry, the clock ticking down faster than a Kentucky Derby horse race. Jaron, true to his southern roots, crafted a plate of Nashville hot quail with fingerling potato salad and poached quail eggs.
Poached quail eggs?
The dish is beautiful.
Now, here's the twist. Jaron, the seasoned chef, had never cooked quail before. But oh boy, did he nail it. The dish might not have had the perfect taste, but the judges were impressed with the cooking and presentation. It could have gone downhill from there, but it didn't. However, the judges had a critique.
Lacks the cohesiveness of one conceptualized appetizer.
Oh no, the dish lacked unity. The potato and quail combo didn't sing in harmony. Jaron explained that he was keeping it real, sticking to southern traditions where fried food pairs well with potato salad. The judges didn't argue, but Joe Bastianic had a concern Jaron might be too loyal to his comfort zone. And as expected, he had some words of advice.
To be a strict reference to where you come from anymore. It's time for you to fly.
They were urging the contestants to step beyond their usual turf, and some of those challenges didn't quite hit the mark. Next, let me tell you about Season 1, Episode 11, where things got real for Whitney. Trust me, you won't believe what went down. Season 1 had its share of twists, but Whitney's episode was one for the books. The top critics were all geared up for some gourmet goodness. Whitney, being bold, served up pan-seared sculpin with a twist, canned tomatoes. Yeah, you heard that right.
Use the tomatoes out of the can.
The judges' faces said it all. Their enthusiasm plummeted like a stone as soon as they heard canned tomatoes. I mean, how clueless can you be?
Thank you.
All of a sudden, no one looked too eager to taste her dish. It was like a slap in the face for their taste buds. Whitney's canned tomato choice had everyone whispering, "What skills?"
It's overpowering. I can't really taste the fish because there's so much garlic in my mouth.
Was it ignorance or plain stupidity? Who knows? Whitney went all in with the canned stuff, but it backfired big time. She probably thought she was being all fancy, but it didn't quite work out that way. Even though Ramsay hates canned food like the plague, Whitney still tossed those tomatoes into her sculpin dish. The critics' reactions were priceless, like they were tasting a science experiment gone wrong. Nothing about the dish felt right, and the garlic and salt overload didn't help the situation either. In the end, Whitney scraped together a measly 5 points. I'm still shocked they gave her points at all.
5 out of 12.
Ramsay didn't mince his words, calling out her choice in no uncertain terms.
Critics anywhere in the world today that you're serving them canned tomatoes.
Listen, taking risks in the kitchen is cool, but remember, the quality of the ingredients and how you handle them is key. Especially on a stage like MasterChef, where the stakes are sky high. Now, Sean O'Neill's journey on MasterChef Season 7 was a roller coaster of dramatic twists and culinary triumphs. We see his initial over-the-top behavior, which, let's be honest, didn't exactly endear him to his peers or the viewers. His domineering tone was a bit much, as noted here.
Delicious. Love the texture of the salted caramel.
However, as the competition progressed, we witnessed a stunning transformation. Sean's culinary skills began to shine through, outshining his antics and winning the admiration of both the judges and the audience. His confidence, which could sometimes be mistaken for cockiness, was rooted in genuine talent. As the finale approached, Sean's mastery in the kitchen was undeniable. Not only did he claim the prestigious MasterChef title, but he also walked away with a cool $250,000 prize. Since his triumphant win, Sean has carved out a successful career in the culinary world. He has hosted several seasons of MasterChef and the MasterChef Celebrity Showdown, as well as appearing on various TV shows like Best in Food on the Travel Channel. His culinary prowess didn't stop there. Sean became a sought-after guest judge on Home and Family episodes, and even appeared in TV commercials, such as the one he did with Morningstar Farms, where he showcased his culinary creativity with a spicy black bean burger. Sean's rise to culinary stardom wasn't just about his MasterChef win. He's a self-taught chef who immersed himself in the culinary arts by reading hundreds of cookbooks and traveling the world, soaking up the flavors of different cultures. His cookbook, a reflection of his journey, shares recipes that blend modern American cuisine with international influences. Sean's business acumen is evident in his various ventures. He has consulted for luxury resorts, created innovative menus, and even entered into a nationwide partnership with Newcastle. His private and corporate dinners have become a hit, with companies like Drip and Canacon eager to book him for their events. Moreover, Sean is known for his generosity in sharing his culinary knowledge, mentoring aspiring chefs, and conducting cooking demos. His charismatic personality and talent have made him a popular figure in the culinary world, and his travels have taken him to destinations like Ireland, Italy, Singapore, and Dubai. His love for food extends to his personal preferences as well. When asked about his favorite dish, Sean revealed his penchant for sous vide picanha, a Brazilian steakhouse classic that he enjoys both cooking and consuming. Moving on, it's David who had his own baggage, man. You can't just sweep that under the rug. At first, he was like a boss in the kitchen, you know? Passionate, logical, and someone you'd respect. Heck, I thought he'd go all the way to the finals. But then, things took a turn for the worse, bro. In the second part of the show, he just went downhill faster than you could think. All his good qualities turned into a big ego trip. Suddenly, he was all about the arguments and putting himself first. Episode 10 of Season 3, that's when it all blew up in his face. David stepped up to the plate with his dish, thinking it was all that.
I did the lobster on the pizza stone.
And it was clear the judges were not impressed.
This looks like some kind of soup, but then you got like this big old long piece.
The judges were basically refusing to eat the dish. In fact, Graham thought it was something out of a nightmare. And Joe, he wasn't holding back either. He threw some shade asking if David really expected him to eat it. On the other hand, Chef Ramsay was straight up brutal. His words were so blunt, it was like a punch in the gut.
With nothing underneath it. It's a great shame.
Ouch! David felt it, man. He knew he messed up, but when the criticism gets that intense, it's hard to bounce back. Yeah, whether he made it to safety in the competition or not, he's definitely made a name for himself in the Worst Dishes Hall of Fame. But let's spill the beans on another David drama from MasterChef, and it's a doozy. I'm talking about episode 15's Mystery Box Challenge. And surprise, David's dish made it to the top 3.
David. It feels amazing to win a mystery box.
As the champ, he got to pick the ingredients for the elimination round, which was all about desserts. Sounds like a sweet gig, right? Not so much when the ingredients come into play. David had to choose from 3 options, and he played a little game of ruin everyone's dessert dreams. He was iffy with beets, and he figured everyone else would rock with bacon, so he went all in on corn.
I immediately know I'm gonna make rice pudding. Mom makes an awesome rice pudding.
Yeah, corn. He got 3 corn dishes to choose from. Before the challenge kicked off, David got an extra 5 minutes to grab any extras he needed, but when the timer started, oh boy, did he step in it.
Would you, Christine?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Josh, do you have any rice?
No rice.
He wanted to make rice pudding, but guess what? He forgot the rice. Like, the main ingredient. Talk about a kitchen oopsie. Mistakes are part of the game, but in MasterChef, they can be a recipe for disaster. David was in a panic, desperately trying to score some rice from other contestants.
Smallest amount. Do you need all of it?
No, I was gonna do that as a backup.
Eventually, he got his hands on some, but not before the judges were like, seriously, how is this happening? David managed to salvage his dish, but the judges were already facepalming. They couldn't believe he messed up his own advantage so badly. So, did the rice pudding save the day? Spoiler alert, not really. David was first up to present to the judges, and they were all, what's the deal with the rice situation? David had to confess his blunder in front of the whole crew. Turns out, the judges weren't too thrilled with his dish. In fact, it was a total flop.
Milk-based rice pudding with a little...
Joe, the straight shooter, was brutally honest and left everyone jaw-dropped with his comment.
Really unedibly disgusting.
But wait, it gets better, or rather worse. Joe's next comment.
I enjoyed it. It reminded me of my mom's kitchen.
Place that I'm going to avoid.
It was a real zinger. Disappointment was the main ingredient of the day, and Joe asked David if he even tasted his dish. When David mentioned it reminded him of his mom's cooking, Joe fired back with a comment that was, let's say, less than respectful.
If I were you, I would ask Becky for some sugar while you're at it.
The other judges weren't exactly David's biggest fans either.
I mean, some serious spices there. I expect something so much better.
They gave some feedback, but it wasn't enough to keep him out of the bottom 3. In the end, David squeaked by, and Felix was the one sent packing.
Felix.
If I had to say, I'd have kicked David out for forgetting the rice in his rice pudding. Like, how do you forget the rice? But hey, he survived elimination this time. Talk about dodging a bullet. Not his best moment, that's for sure. Next, let's dive into the details of the challenge that Tali faced in Season 3, Episode 11. In a dramatic twist, the mystery box was opened, and out came sea urchins, those little oceanic nightmares with their venomous spines. The sight alone was enough to make some chefs second-guess their life choices.
Some of those spines are poisonous.
Chef Ramsay, with a cheeky smile that suggested he was enjoying the contestants' discomfort a bit too much, reminded them of the dangers lurking beneath the spines.
Basically what we're doing is just cutting a nice, smooth, round hole.
But, as is the case in MasterChef, every challenge is a learning opportunity. Ramsay quickly turned from menacing to mentor, offering a quick lesson on handling these prickly sea delicacies. The contestants, now armed with knowledge, were told that they only had a limited set of ingredients to work with, and the clock was ticking 1 hour to cook something that wouldn't just survive the taste test, but would also impress the judges. Pressure was on, and while most contestants were scrambling to turn their sea urchins into something edible, one stood out, Felix. She aced the challenge, winning not just the praise of the judges, but also the opportunity to choose the theme for the elimination test.
Think of that.
That's amazing.
And what a choice she made, 9 different fish to choose from, including rockfish, John Dory, catfish, yellowtail, salmon, and Arctic char. As for Tally, he hit the jackpot with the Arctic char. The cooking challenge was on, and these home cooks were off to the pantry like they were chasing a prize. It was game on. They had 1 hour to cook up a storm. Let's fast forward to the prep part. Tally had the easiest fish to handle, but let's see what he was cooking up. When Chef Ramsay's face falls, you know it's not gonna be good. And Tally, he decided to remove all the flavor from the Arctic char like it was a flavor exorcism.
It cooks it in its own juices and it keeps that flavor locked.
And Joe's reaction? It was a classic. Check it out for yourself.
Easiest fish here today. You could steam it, grill it, saute it. It's always going to be buttery and perfect.
Tally was clueless about what he was doing to the fish. The judges' first reaction? Yeah, Tally was looking at a bottom 3 position.
All those flavors are gonna obliterate it. I mean, that's stuff that you would serve with like a nice roasted piece of meat.
With time ticking down, the judges checked out what the home cooks made. Tally's dish? It wasn't memorable.
You rubbed the Arctic char and Dijon mustard.
Chef Ramsay wasn't feeling it, but Tally, instead of taking it to heart, decided to throw in a joke.
He interrupts me in the middle of my creative genius. It's kind of like interrupting master artists like Picasso.
Was that the joke of the season? Maybe, but let's get back to the action. The clock hit 0, and it was time to unveil their creations. As for Tally, he strutted up to the judges with his Arctic char and green lentils. But the judges were in no mood for pleasantries. Joe was straight up with Tally, telling him he was letting the team down consistently.
Tell me about what my intention is about cooking.
And Joe didn't let up, continuing to put Tally in his place.
Fatty, nasty looking bacon, poorly conceived cooked Arctic char.
Then, the one and only Chef Ramsay gave his 2 cents.
Master Chef, not Master Bait.
Whoa, that was unexpected. When it comes to harsh critiques, Chef Ramsay's got the market cornered. But he didn't stop there. He said the dish had no flavor because it was badly seasoned, like a flavorless fish in a flavorless sea. Tally tried to play the judges are too old to appreciate my modern cuisine card, leading to some serious eye-rolling. But hey, come on, man, get over yourself, Tally. In the end, after some intense deliberation, Monty and Frank were hailed as the culinary kings and queens with their rock star dishes, claiming their spots as team captains for the next challenge. On the flip side, David, Tally, and Christine were up for elimination, but Christine got a last-minute reprieve and was in the clear for the day. But hold on to your aprons because Tally finally got his marching orders. Now, how many of you were hoping David would be the one to go? He's been dodging the bullet for a while now, despite serving up subpar dishes in previous challenges. Now, let's shift our focus to Mr. Italiano. Yeah, that one judge who everyone probably loves to hate. While seeing Joe trash dishes on the show is nothing out of the ordinary, here's a moment straight from MasterChef Italia that threw light on the other side of Joe Bastianich. In one of the episodes of the Italian series, Joe made a surprising detour to a beauty salon nestled in Milan's Chinatown, operated by 2 Chinese ladies.
Gina.
Throughout his visit, he repeatedly tried to correct their speech.
Roma.
Way to make someone uncomfortable. He then inquired if they'd ever dated Italian guys before. He basically hinted that Chinese guys might have, some shortcomings in, you know, certain areas of expertise. Catch my drift?
Non adeguati in certe situazioni.
He even wondered aloud what Chinese folks do when someone passes away, because he'd never come across a deceased Chinese person before.
Concetto fare un mausoleo per dire che tu pensi.
Joe, you build a mausoleum, you narcissistic freak, but in some cultures they burn their dead. Though, in that case, they build a columbarium. Fun fact for the day.
Io sono d'accordo, qualcuno è morto, lo bruci fuori, finito di...
I mean, that was embarrassing to watch. But that's not the only time he made someone uncomfortable with his arrogance. Or rather ignorance, should I say?
How about me? Am I famous in China?
Of course.
I mean, come on, Joe. The only thing you'd ever be famous for in China is your racist comments. Yeah, they are way more aware of you than you probably think. I mean, just this one moment from Season 9 is enough to give you a good idea of what the man is really about.
My apologies.
You don't have to apologize.
Okay, Joe, if you want to believe that. So that's a wrap on today's video. But can you think of more contestants you could add to the list? Make sure to let me know in the comments below. And if you thought the video was crazy, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications. And hey, don't forget to check out this next video right here. It's even crazier.